Thank you, Maria, for your presentation and welcome everybody. Once again, another webinar. My name is Noe. I'm the Business Central consultant here in Optimus. And well, today we are going to check how to administer a Business Central online. Okay, what happened here is that what I'm about to explain is for administrators, for you people who need to know about how to actually work with this that is in the cloud. If you remember, all the normal ERP as we used to know, right? We install in your server, we have Active Directory, we might actually use Telemetry or other apps for security, resources and everything else, right? Even to copy a database from SQL, well, just access to SQL and, well, basically export it. And that's the thing with in the cloud processes. There are a lot of different tasks to perform that we are going to. I have prepared this to concentrate all of that in one single webinar, so you can, let's say, create users, assign licenses, copy your database, create a production environment, things like that, right? So it's going to be super easy. It's just about following the same instructions. The difficult part is to start reading, but let's just start working on this so we can actually just save some time for you. So for your learning process, this is not basic. This is actually quite advanced, but surprisingly, it's very easy to do. Okay, all this administration process, piece of cake. You're gonna see that. But the idea is that Business Central Administration has different sites or portals for administrators to perform a different task, right? So you might be internal administrator or a help desk agent, right? You might be thinking about changing user permissions, things like that, right? For accessing your portals. So this is then the Business Central, right? A ERP by itself. And the idea is just how to access and see who can actually enter. Let's say I have a user here that is an admin and my domain, right? And you will be having the company, your company name in the domain and an account and a password and everything else, right? So how do we see all those users and which permissions and licenses and devices they use? Let's just go and through this apps menu, right, that we have. Look at this. I have my Office tools normally that I always use when I work. And then as well, I have one portal that is called with this icon admin, right? And if I just, let's say, click on this one, this is going to open. Then if you take a look once again, this is the icon for administrative website. And, it's in Spanish, sorry. But the idea here is that we are going to be able to then check our users. Here I have in Spanish users is the icon with the person. And to check active users, the first option is going to immediately open all the users that you have created, right? Here I have, on my Optimus team and actually, if you wanted, I can give you access to my environments, the demo environments. Sometimes I have a lot of people that actually, sometimes when I do webinars, they want to see my transactions or they want to test some functionality that I prepare for them and things like that. So that will be then the case in this scenario where we are going to just look for the people that is here. And if I just look for me, just take a look at my actual name, Mod Administrator, because as well, I have a search name, so to speak. So if I just take a look at this, I will be finding myself here, Mod Administrator, just to show you what configurations I use, right? And then in this case, this is the actual user card for me to then have access to the different setups that we're going to just check. And they are very simple, actually. The idea is to have then your domain. This is something that whenever we create a new user, right, this is going to be added and then immediately useful so you can have access. And we are going to have actually the date and the time for our last access to Business Central, which is for me right now, actually, right? And then we can just, so to speak, change as well, have different groups, right? Security groups to where this MOD administrator belongs to. So I have all of them within Azure. Remember that now our database is not in SQL or in a physical server, which could be if you have or if you need a hybrid model, but in the cloud is installed, in my case, well, in Azure, actually, we use the Microsoft official service for our in the cloud implementations and my own environment. So I my own candies, right? So then the idea is that, well, we have different processes that we could do. For instance, establish a new password by just clicking on this one. You could just go directly to the actual update of your user preferences, settings, password, things like that, right? To the all applications that we have here, right? Remember that part of the features of the cloud environment is that with just one single email, in this case, well, we are going to be able to just have access to everything. So right away, we can just then immediately go and change that, and that will be working for everything. That's super cool. And then we'll just general information like your telephone number. That's good for sometimes some printed information that we might use, or at least having contact, and then, well, be able to contact you immediately. So in this case, well, the basic part is just, well, general information, how's your domain and your security groups, right? Then we are going to be able to look for some devices. The idea is that you can, and we can see our data centers that are located, in my case, in the USA, okay? If you are in Caribbean or South America, your data center most likely might be Brazil, all right? The idea is that we're going to get connection to the data center, which is, well, Azure actually is a service in the cloud that has different data centers where they actually have our information. They provide the security and maintenance of all our servers, right? It's super secure. Imagine that the FBI in the USA actually have their own databases in Azure. Imagine the level of security they have. Okay, so that's one good point to understand what is the cloud, how secure it is, and things like that. And then, well, we can then make some additional configurations that will be then applied in Azure. I will make it a following webinar after all of this for Azure, where we can just actually indicate you can have access if you are in this specific country, right? And that's why all our databases actually are related to one specific country. And in the future, just for you to know, our versions of Business Central will be updated by country. So if you're in the USA, Caribbean, and even in South America, well, or Microsoft is thinking now in countries instead of just, well, having like a regional version. Okay, but now in the license sections of this user, from where I can see that I have a Business Central license. That's super cool. Also, I use a tool that is called Power Automate, where I actually just trigger some other functions outside Business Central that link to functionality with other type of applications and software. Simple as. And then an Office 365, because I always use Excel or Word online. And then I have then this actual access through an Office account, okay? Plus, then look at this. I have, well, I don't know how many apps I have installed already, okay? But this is all just because I do plenty of different apps, okay? But, well, here is your licenses that you can activate or deactivate. That's super important at any given point. And then your email as well, or information that you can use, right, for actually provide permissions for the a company email. In this case, email storage, just because it's a demo, is super empty at this point, right? But here we have other information that we can set up for maybe somebody only be able to see or change or use Outlook as normal, right? But here, well, I'm not going to go too much into all this specific because this is only for email. And then we have one for OneDrive, which is as well super specific to even be able to save files in the Microsoft cloud drive, actually, which is OneDrive. And then, well, they have plenty of different configurations as well. But today is about the Business Central environments. So I just mentioned that you have all of this, okay? So This is the thing. Here we're gonna have all these people, and in order to create a new user, I'm gonna just say create a new user is a function that I have in this actual list. And then what I want to do is just maybe add just the demo user, and the last name is demo as well. And then what will be then your actual name and your name for your domain for this new person, okay? And then it's telling me, oh no, this user already exists, so this will be demo 2, let's say, okay? This is going to immediately verify within the users of this list, well, which users already have access, so we don't actually repeat the same email. And then, well, our domains, okay? You might actually be able to have more than one domain when that applies to you. And if you have tenants in different environments with different domains, well, you might be able to select to which one this actual user have access to. And then, well, the idea is that they are going to receive an email, right, to any other personal email, okay? So in this case, I could add, for instance, www, I'm going to add my own email, and optimus.group. Okay, actually you can contact me. This was the email where I actually receive all these different requests for present webinars, right? But look at how easy then it is. Okay, you can actually take and ask for me or ask our team here in Optimus to review this webinar later. It will be super interesting. Okay, for you to understand all of these different features, because there are a lot of different sites and pages that I'm about to open. All right, and here, well, once again, to which country you want to provide access to this user, okay? And of course, in the United States. If I go to any other place, I might not have access to Business Central. You might be thinking that, well, that hackers, of course, are located anywhere, but especially, well, at least we authenticate people that should be in a specific geographical area, right? And then nothing else. I would then just continue with this. And the idea here is that I would need to assign any given license. Well, in this case, only for Business Central access, not to use the other that I need, okay? But at least just to be able to access to the ERP, we are going to need this specific license that you can purchase, right? And the idea is that if you purchase 10, well, the first 10 users that have access Business Central on that specific day are going to consume one of the licenses, okay? But as well, if you enable, as well, let's just do one other setup. We can enable as well other type of access to other portals. If you want, they can access to, for instance, to be admins of other portals. That will be SharePoint, Teams, Exchange, and others, okay? For now, don't worry about being an administrator of different type of applications. You're just having access to this actual Business Central, provide the license, assign a name, and then if needed at any given moment, well, this user is going to be able to have access immediately, right? Just you need to do this just to mention how and why we use this administration center, okay, for Business Central. And this is telling me your user was already aggregated and so forth, right? So that will be then the idea. And they actually, only for me as an administrator, I can see what will be the actual password of this user, right? And this actual email is going to receive, this will be a personal email of this person, actually. Then the actual email will be sent immediately to that actual email. Well, just because they are going to be able to receive a link with a Business Central link that I have at the top here, just to have access to this page, and they will need to insert a password and update a personal new one, okay? Nothing else. So this is just the idea of how and why we just need access to the administration center that I have just here. But this is just the basic stuff. You can actually authenticate with multi-factor authentication if needed, right? That's as well. This is used when we download an authentication Microsoft app that we have, right? And then you will be accessing to the website, but as well, you will need to have then a password from your actual app in your cell phone, and then just to actually have a double authentication process. And when we do implementation, you can ask for that, okay? Or if you don't have it currently, we can just enable it. And if I'm not mistaken, actually that would be mandatory, or it was already mandatory a few months ago, okay? And then we must enable it, okay, for this user. So we can just simply click on multi-factor authentication. This is one of the other different setups that I have, right? And then we are going to be able to actually, yes, just do that and just enable, right? Let's say for Alan Steiner here, I would then be able to enable then, but they would need as well to download one app that is called Microsoft Authenticator. So they're going to receive different passcodes, okay? And then when we access Business Central, it's going to ask for that passcode as well. So double authentication, which is your own password and the physical authentication process within your cell phone. Okay, so that is one of the things that I just wanted to show you, because we begin by giving access to people, right? And then it's just the idea of coming back to Business Central. And if you follow these simple steps, then we're going to have a list of users that we already have, which is in the case actually already the same. But just remember that we have specific functions from the user list, remember, take a look at the video. And then we are going to need to click on update users from Microsoft 365, right? And this would be actually asking you, and it's going to tell you that it's going to take a lot, like, I don't know how many hours, like, yeah, 72 hours, but it's actually doing it immediately. And then we just click on next, and voila, you have added a new user with a specific license, and well, with the specific recommendations with devices, passwords, or double authentication, and so forth, okay? So then, this is because this is connecting through the admin portal, in this case, right, to update this specific list that we have in front of us. So here is our demo 2 user, right? So he's going to have access from now on, and we just need to verify, okay, this is a new user. I can see that this is part of some stuff called use group memberships, right? Other stuff that is called permissions. Okay, we have webinars for actually configure your user now that we are inside Business Central, right? But for now, the administration process is about giving access to the actual application. And inside, we have additional security, because if we talk about a company, well, the purchasers should only do purchases, and the accountant should always, review the general ledger and so forth, right? So remember that inside we have different permissions, and we call permission sets. Okay, so that will be then one of the steps that I just wanted to show you today. But as well, just in any case, right, when you want to go further, right, then we might need another website that I just wanted to show you. This place was only to see the users, but I want to now do a copy of my database, or see who's connected, or stop a session, so things like that, right? So I'm going to put this actual link into your chat, if you take a look, which actually is going to open the following website, which is called the Business Central Admin Center, okay? You are just going to need to, let me do it so you can see it. Oof, a lot of different sites. Okay, I have pasted a link into your chat, which is this one, right? businesscentral.dynamics.com, and then tenant ID, okay? And we need to learn always what is our tenant ID. How do I find this, okay? Because I'm going to require sometimes even for a support, you can send it to me or to Microsoft. I'm going to show you immediately how to do so. But first, we need to do the actual identification of our tenant ID. How to do so? Here, if we come back to Business Central, we're going to see this question mark, correct? This is going to then open for me then different processes for me to ask for features, learn Business Central. This is about the Microsoft Learn, okay? A different, what else? Community, if you want to speak with other people using Business Central outside even your company, how they use this or that, or if they have instructions or things that happen. So you can have communications with other people. And then we have here the option for help and support. Okay, if we can just click on help and support, we're gonna then see references to the actual tenant information, like what will be the actual country of this actual and the last version that was already installed here. By the way, I saw in 30 minutes ago that we are going to have an update tomorrow. We need to talk about it because you are going to be able to update Business Central from now on. That is automatically updated for Microsoft. And that's one of the reasons why we need to understand, well, some of this information, right? But for me, to make administrative processes for this environment, I will need to go to the Azure AD tenant, this one, okay? And I will be just actually checking this super large number, okay? Which, well, is just basically because we are going to be then serializing our environments. And I want to connect to the Azure AD tenant live, okay, to be able to then make some changes, actually. So let's just then come back to my link, okay? And here, you just need to copy paste your tenant ID name. So as everything that I'm showing, as you can see, super easy to do, right? And then because I'm the admin, of course, well, this is an administrator, right? You're going to be able then to access as an administrator to this actual page. For this to happen as well, remember or take a note that you need to be an administrator in Azure as well for your actual environment, okay? So that's why behind the scene, there are other processes in Azure that I'm not going to show today, but well, remember that we have different types of administrators. This is the global administrator, so to speak, who is going to be able to see, first of all, this thing that we call the Business Central Admin Center. Okay, and the difference here is that from this specific website that is as well an admin center, we're going to be able to do other type of processes once we are granted permissions in Azure. And what I want to now is just verify what type of environments I have for my company. I can see that I have one that is called production. That's fine, because here I can see the data of my company. Actually, this other Kronos USA demo. Okay, this is my product environment, so to speak, right? And then, well, coming back to the environment website, if I take a look at this production environment, well, I can see other information like, okay, this is Business Central for the USA. Hey, where is my Azure data center? Here it is. So no worries. You can start making questions or anything like that. And then here we're going to have a lot of different informative, very informational and cool data that I need to know always. This is type production, right? Because we are going to be able to have production and Sandbox for your test or development processes. And I'm going to show you how to actually create one of these. So this is then production, and you could only have one for production environment with 80 gigabytes, right? Memory. And if needed more, you can purchase more, don't worry. You can ask us, Optimus, hey, I would need more space, but let's think about 3, 4, 5 years in the future, okay? It's not going to be a problem. And then as well, that's the maximum capacity, right? And once again, here, I'm going to show you our security group. This is coming as well for Azure, coming from Azure, okay? Because you can define as well, if in Active Directory in Azure, you have dozens of different users who is going to be able to access to the Business Central environment, actually, right? Another important information will be here, version management. Here, I'm going to be able to see the last update. And then I'm going to have good news because tomorrow, February 17, I'm going to be able to have a new updated version, okay? And things like that. So we're going to then just be able to see this information. But for now, the first step, I have one production and I have one hub that I call development, okay? So how do I create one environment like this? Okay, we have different procedures, but the normal one will be coming to new, actually here. And then, well, this is gonna take a little, so maybe I will be as well showing other tasks and things like that while it's being created. But the idea is that every environment has one name. It's gonna tell you if it's production or sandbox. they should be active, and the country region that you select, and my versions, because currently they are, yes, different. So I'm going to create one environment that I use for demos that I will be using for that. And then here I can see that my production environment is not enabled anymore. It's actually in red. That means that I cannot select a sec or create a second production environment. If you want, we can actually just, with Microsoft, sell another production environment, but that would be another 10 and things like that. Sandboxes, you can have, let me just select now the sandbox, at most 3 sandbox environments for your own purposes like testing or development, like in my case, right? And then, well, just select then the country like I'm doing just right now. So let me just select the US as well for my second environment that I will be creating. And this is tell you the actual version that I will be installing for now. And this is the last version. So whenever you create a new environment, okay, from scratch like this, meaning that there is not going to have transactions, or is not, this is not a copy of my production environment. This is a new environment, then to start working from scratch, if you want to develop or things like that, when you don't actually just need all the database that we have. So, well, here's some other ideas. You're responsible for any interface with the production data, if you turn on any integrations. So you need to be aware of what you're doing in this case. And the idea is that we are going to be creating one from scratch, but the process in this very moment will be blank. I'm just going to create it. Okay. And while it's being behind the scene, okay, preparing my environment, okay, I want to just continue showing more processes. The idea here is that my blank sandbox environment will be ready with my own information. But the idea as well, sometimes you don't need a blank environment. So the idea is a sandbox environment is a non-production instance of Business Central, is isolated from production, all right? A sandbox environment is a place to safely explore, learn, demo, I don't know, ideas, test, develop. Well, the service without the risk of affecting the data. And whenever we create any of these type of environments and we select the country, we need to pay attention to the following. We might prepare or automated some tasks. They will be completely stopped here. They are not going to work, like print a report at this time or tomorrow or every week. If you have any base application integration settings, they will be cleared. Another technical aspects like outbound HTTP calls, all right, which is like doing a connection with web services to other instances, right, or programs, okay, that will be blocked. So when we work with the sandbox environment, we don't make actual recalls as if we were in production to other applications that we don't want. So that's why this technical part needs to be explained. Don't worry about creating sandbox environment. Everything will be blocked, okay? And then once it is created, okay, that I'm gonna just leave it for now. Sometimes we don't actually necessarily want to prepare from scratch something, but I have my production environment that I want to copy it, okay? And how it works, the idea is that, well, we have just a very simple function. This once again here, I'm just gonna copy here by using this actual button. Just call it however you want it. This will be copy of prod, all right, environment. And well, here, as you can see, I cannot select anymore the production environment, but has got to be Sandbox, okay? And then, well, once you do that, I'm not going to actually touch this one, all right, because it's going to take a while. I have a lot of transactions. Well, not that much, but it's going to take like 10, 15 minutes that I don't want to waste. But when the process starts, you can go to the list of your environments and see the status of the new environment. At first, you'll see the new environment with the state preparing. Let me just come back like this one, okay? This is being then at this point working, actually creating this in Azure as well. And the active, then active on the new environment is fully up and running, all right? That will be this one, or the production that I can see here, the state. And then, well, when an environment is created as a copy of another environment, a number of precautions are taken as well. So once again, we're going to stop any automated task within Business Central, like sending emails automatically, printing reports automatically. Any base application integration settings are cleared. And any reversible features that were enabled in the original environment will also be turned on in your copy. Okay, so well, I'm going to explain you in the end what is a feature. But other things like if you have developed an extension that is published in Azure DevOps, and any extension that depend on them are uninstalled. Okay, so you are not going to be, you would need to reward some of your installs and give access and well do the setups for some of the different, I don't know, functionality that you use. What I'm talking about, the extension is, well, we have basically the extension marketplace. And this is one of the features that we have as well here in the cloud. The extension marketplace is going to be giving us another functionality that is connecting to our ERP, but that works for other purposes. Let's say that you want to find a POS system, right? You go to the marketplace like I'm doing just right now, and here this is going to look for whatever I'm looking at. POS interface, oh, that would be good to try. You can click on free trial. Okay, if I install this, different type of POS that a lot of providers did already, right? Here's once again our app source or marketplace. And if we just click on free trial, this is going to now connect their application developed as an extension to our data and our functionality in my company. Okay, so whenever we then create these environments, they will be disconnected. Okay, immediately. And things happen with SMTP, passwords and OCR, CRM. Think about it. Okay, the different type of options. But okay, coming back, it's not ready. Sorry. Let's just go back to other lessons. Meanwhile, as well, it will be possible, which I'm not going to do now, but you can actually delete, rename, and this will be super easy. Just click on delete, and well, it's just going to ask you a couple of questions. Well, you can do delete the Sandbox environment, choose environment of and just click on delete. Okay, nothing complicated, but interesting that Microsoft comes with a promise of keeping your data safe and available to you. We give environments a state of soft deleted. I don't know how it is translated in actual English. I'm not a native English speaker, but that will be remaining, meaning that even if I delete this one, well, it's going to remain 7 days, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1 week, okay? And these same terms apply when the environment is scheduled for deletion at some point, right? Because actually we just can do so. But it's important to understand that because later, if for any given reason, and here this is important for all my audience today, for all every person who wants to understand what happened there, if after maybe tomorrow I delete this environment, which is my production environment, right? You can actually still restore it, okay? If you go after 7 days, I think that Microsoft is not going to promise that you're going to be able to restore it, okay? So that will be, in principle, the idea to manage and create these environments, okay? Now, all my environments are active in this very moment, right? So the idea is that, yes, we are going to be able, why not to do so with one of them? I haven't used this one in a while. So we can just basically come into the development or any environment that you desire, and you can just click on delete it, okay? And then the idea here is that, yes, this is going to delete. Let me just mark this text so you can see it. Yeah, this is going to then remove it, okay? This is going to, of course, ask you if you want to just delete it. And then, well, you just need to confirm the name of this environment. Actually, this is a double question, so you are going to be able to be super sure that, yes, this is the one I want to delete with the actual name I'm typing in this very moment, okay? And then once again, This is going to just prepare the deletion, okay? But in the end, well, even if I look at this removing the environment, okay? In the end, I could come and then basically click on the restore option, at most for 1 single week. So make sure you communicate the plan to restore an environment with your organization upfront in a good time when that's super necessary. Don't worry, but remove the access to the environment to non-essential users. Make sure the required users like administrator keep access. And well, for more information later, of course, call us because this will be quite critical, right? I'm just showing you the administration process, but yeah, of course, sometimes we would need to make sure that some users won't have any more access, how to remove them from the system, consider renaming the environment, things like that, right? So it's about restoring, and you create a new environment that the database backup will be restored to. So that will be just super easy. Create a new environment like I just did, and we would need to create a restore, and it's going to show you, okay, the actual development deleted environment, okay? So that will be then just the case when you need to delete and then restore for any given reason or purpose, right? Maybe somebody wrote a code or created a specific report that they needed the last data, or accidentally, or for, I don't know, things happen, okay? I'm just gonna put it that way. Okay, but nothing else. Is just about deletion, restoring, and managing the information for your environments. So from here, I'm gonna come back. Just gonna leave it. Oh, it's already deleted. Yeah, it's because it was very, almost with no data. That environment was immediately deleted. Okay, but important. Your production environment will need a security group that you define from Azure. Okay, so let's say Business Central users. And here, just click on define, and you're going to be able to select your groups from here. That will be super important, so you have control of who has access, even though they are already created in my administration server. You can still block them from Azure, okay? Now, other idea that I will be actually explaining that will be super cool is because I have here an update of my environment. Let me just go back. Okay, an update version of, well, my environment, in this case, Business Central, is available, and the updates will begin, guess what, tomorrow. That's why actually I have this webinar today. So you may schedule a date for the update on the update action list. What all of this means, right? The thing with let me just mount. Look, okay, the thing here is that in the old-fashioned IT processes, we would need to download an update, install it in your server, hopefully without, or well, if you do the testings and everything works fine, right? But you would need to do all of that manually, and that takes a lot of time. And in my experience, my clients haven't actually never updated the actual ERP. And this is, I'm not laughing. This is because we don't always want an update. It's not desirable because previously was a lot of conflicts. We had a lot of issues always whenever an update was applied. But from now on, Microsoft is going to update yes your environment. Remember that, okay? But the thing here is that, let me see a page for the major updates. What happened here? Why Microsoft updates everything for me, and what is the reasoning behind it? Let me just, was looking for this page, timelines for major updates in Business Central. And here I can see April 1 and May 1. So update is available on April 1, updates start on, and then last selectable update day. So this means that, yes, we have some flexibility, and that will be the idea. If this is then update will start on February 17, then maybe until May or June, you're going to be able to recall the update for you to test it, but not in my production environment. Of course not. I will make a copy of my production environment, which is my demo environment currently. Okay. And well, actually, this was updated already. So I cannot update because it was already created with the updated version. But let me just make just one analogy. I'm going to come back to my production environment as if I were going to then just without testing, because the idea is that you come to your older version and click on modify, or if you actually go to update settings, you can tell to Business Central, let's just set up a date for this update in my Sandbox environment. I want this to be updated, and this is the reason why. I defaulted was February 16, but I don't want this. I will do this in my Sandbox environment. I will program a date for Microsoft to immediately update my Sandbox environment on this date. Okay, my Sandbox environment, organize your people, don't do developments, don't access, because I'm going to be then updating this specific date, and you can schedule this update. Okay, so remember, major updates, which are actually, we're going to have releases tomorrow, and then in, if I'm not mistaken, September, it's a super major release, the release of the year with a lot of new functionality. You can actually take a look at YouTube. What's the new functionality of Business Central for the beginning? And September is the, well, from tomorrow. And then the second release of 2023, more or less in September. Okay. But the idea here is that the logic is that we use our Sandbox environments to then set up and update a date and then a window, because we need to specify that we need to tell Microsoft that they can install whatever they need to update my environment, but outside, well, working hours, all right? So as well, that's the second setup we just needed to. Easy, right? So the idea is that for good or bad, right now, all the now that we are connected in the cloud, all Business Central environments from all our customers are going to be then updated. And if I'm not mistaken, once this is available, like in this case, February 17, 2023, right, this is going to start rolling out the default day when Microsoft start upgrading this, okay, our environments all over the world. Once the update is scheduled as well, you can change that specific date, right? But the last day you can choose extended. Typically goes 30, almost 60 days. I have seen that in the previous 2022 release, right? That you can wait for that install. But anyway, Microsoft is going to actually install it in your prod environment. Okay, so let's think of 60 days after February 17 that my production environment will be updated, yes or yes. So I recommend you to go to a Sandbox environment, schedule the update this tomorrow, right? If you want to do so, you now know how to create a Sandbox environment, update it, and tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, you're going to see the results within your own functionality to verify that everything is just well, fine. The second stage of any update is just the apps. This is actually in the top. I'm going to click here, apps. And I have, well, a lot of stuff here. But the thing is that, yeah, I have connected a lot of different stuff. Let me just show you. Barcode generator. This is super cool because I don't have in my company a program to generate barcodes, so I install the barcode generator. Okay, barcode generator tool. That's so cool and very fancy. It helps me to print my different barcodes for my items. Okay, so the thing is that this is an app once again that I install. Remember what is an extension? Okay. And then the extension management or marketplace to acquire new extensions and functionality, new code, in other words. And if I just go to extension management, I'm going to be able to see that I have different applications that I have installed. If I take a look, yeah, here is my barcode generator installed, and another provider did this to sell it, right? And I acquired it. So that's fine. I have this one. But if I come back to my actual environment and I'm now able to see the apps, okay? And here my InsightWorks app is telling me, hey, because this new release, you need to install an update of this barcode generating functionality, and this provider actually has to be updated within the major releases, and they will be creating an update of their own functionality for me just to create barcodes, but you need to as well install the updates. So otherwise you might run into errors and things like that, okay? So it's quite logical. The idea is to resolve requirements for app updates, understand an app's dependencies, that we are dependent on these, trigger, well, just to be up to date. So how to trigger this? We just need to click on install update. This is going to ask you, okay, let's just click on yes. Actually, this is oh, sorry, because I was waiting too much with my environment's creation. Actually, my session expired. But yeah, okay, just that. Just go to apps and then just click next, next, next whenever you find that you need to install this update. Okay, nothing complicated, but super, once again, important to be able to complete. To the latest available version, this is containing actually that number, latest available version, okay? And then the action requires will be basically installed, okay? So this action means that the app is ready to install, select the link to start installation, next, next, next. And well, if you don't have a sandbox environment, yes, create one, okay? Don't do this in production environment. So just, well, best practice, okay? It's not a super risky, but what could be happening if this is a super important functionality, all right? Let's say you are going to be working with different functionality for emails. You need to have them yes or yes, all right? So it depends. It depends. But don't wait for that, okay? Just help us with that and learn about this. That will be super cool. So the idea is just to install that, and that will be super fine anyway. Now, what another typical task we need to perform when we are in the cloud? Let me just come back to Business Central, because once in a while, my database, when it's full of users working to protect, we need to protect our transactions from other transactioning modify the same data, so to speak, okay? The first transaction puts a lock on the data sometimes, and the lock remains until the transaction is just done, okay? Meanwhile, if something happens when a database lock occurs, concurrent transactions are limited in their access to the affected data, basically, meaning that you cannot move, basically. So the limit is determined by the locking mode set by SQL Server. So that's a normal database issue that we might sometimes have, okay? Don't worry about it. Just come back to Business Central and actually just look for the database logs to verify that nothing is wrong at this point, okay? And whenever that's happening, the idea is, well, you can actually look for the SQL session ID. Well, I cannot show it at this moment. I cannot even create a log even if I wanted. But well, here I will be just basically finding the session who actually had that issue, because I will need to, in a moment, I will show you how to stop a session, right? But this is one of the first things that you will need to verify. If a line appears here, meaning that, well, Business Central is just locked and you won't be able basically to move for the specific process that you were trying to do, will be just simply stopped and you won't be able to move anything else, okay? So once I understand this, take a look at this. If you find something, one single line here meaning that you have a lock, simple as. The second thing that I would just recommend always is just look for the size of your tables. And from these, remember that all this is in Azure. I'm not going to open SQL, but I'm just basically go to this hyperlink that is called table information. From here, it's just a matter of understanding, well, let me just open it. It might take a little. Okay. It's not moving that fast. Yeah, it takes a while. Let me just... Okay, while it's opening, the idea is to check what are your larger tables with plenty of different transactions, okay? Meanwhile, I'm going to come back to my production environment. I'm going to come back in a moment, and I was speaking a little bit with the data logs, okay, or something like that, which is the session that has issue. And here, come back to your environments, okay? And once again, in my administration or admin center. And here you can see the sessions. Go back to your production environment or Sandbox or whatever, and come and click sessions, okay? So the idea is that this page displays information about active sessions on an environment and lets you cancel selected sessions. Let's say that, for instance, I can see here that I have 2 people accessing to with a phone, okay, or tablet as well, and they have been working. But at some point, maybe one of the active users created the data log, or simply because I need to cancel any of them. There's no reason, specific link between a data log always with canceling a session. You just can whenever you need to close one, maybe somebody has been 36 hours in a row without stopping, they haven't closed anything, their browser is still there or something. So the idea is that you can just click here, and I will be canceling this phone client and just cancel your session, right? Click yes, and well, this will be disconnecting, right, the actual Business Central access for this actual session for this user admin. So yes, and this is because I have so many environments that I have my tablet, my laptop, my cell phone connected all together. Okay, I want to then just come back to remember the table information. This is it. I want to understand what's actually sometimes where is what is occupying more storage. Okay, so I can see that I have here. Look at this report size. It's huge at this very moment. I have another one, record size. Okay, so we would need to understand by company, because here's my company name, and I have a multi-company environment, just by the way, where I can just check how many companies I have. So imagine, with all these companies that I have for my demos and webinars, well, I will be then having to verify. Sometimes I have companies that I never use. Some of them, well, my production environments are huge normally, and yours will be, right, at some point. And the idea is that, well, you understand what tables are the largest, okay? And manage the available database and file capacities as well. Once you verify these tables, come back to your Business Central Admin Center. And here we have one capacity with a record that, well, out of my, remember your maximum capacity, this here you can find it, capacity of your database, in this case, for my environments. And oh, look at this, I have plenty of space in this very moment, right? And well, this is good, so I can continue working, but as well, here I will be able to just understand that storage capacity usage of Business Central is represented by database files on the capacity page. So basically, this is it. And it's actually the same read that you find here, but by table in the table information section. Okay. Some businesses have unique scenarios that may require additional storage. For those organizations that need more, there's an option to purchase extra database. Just tell us. And as add-on to their existing Business Central subscription or reselling, well, if you are a partner, you will plan to be a partner, right? As well, you can sell it. Just that's the idea. We just basically can create. And some advice: delete on used companies, delete documents that you don't use. Use retention policies allow you to specify how frequently you want Business Central to automatically delete outdated data. Okay, things like that something is something that I always recommend. So actually, there's an extension. I don't have time to do that, but is going to be helpful, and I can make a video if you need it, right? For that, and we can compress data as well. All right, so that will be one of the things as well that we can do, which is normally a task that we do for any given database. We can just compress information. Okay, but from now on, I would like to then work with the notifications for recipients, okay? When an update is ready, I want to receive an email to this specific email address, okay? This is in the admin center, once again, notifications recipients. So add a new recipient, and here just add then the demo user, and then the actual demo, add a Optimus.group. Okay, remember that user that we created, and this one is going to receive information about updates or any issue that is happening here. Okay, so that will be basically one of the things that we need to do first, because from here we might need to then make some inspections and we'll understand what's going on within Business Central. The first thing we need to do is the telemetry. Okay, while it connects, the idea is that we need to understand, well, basically, sometimes it takes several minutes, but it's a base point in time, a picture to set a range of or a timestamp, right? After, let's say, minus 150, this is minutes, okay? To see who have access to my environment, how often and what they did, okay? So yes, this is a timestamp that I was mentioning. Okay, a level form, they started one single page, right? And then the system of the object they executed and other important information. Just in case, the idea is just this telemetry is later helping us to see, well, and with the performance that I'm going to show you how to check it of Business Central, if everything is going fine, and well, you start your processes normally, okay? Otherwise, you will be seeing here errors, not connecting, all right? So if it stop, that's fine, okay? I want to see this whenever I inspect telemetry. And then here as well, I want to see my operations, because yes, one thing is the sessions that are connected, the telemetry about at what time they had access and things like that. You can measure by reviewing a range of minutes in the past, by applying this minus sign, -5, okay, -5 minutes in this case. But actually I use 150 for my more realistic telemetry review, that I have no errors in the at least last 2 hours and a half, so to speak, right? So everything seems good. I don't see errors so far. All the code units and pages are opening normally. That's good, right? And then let's go back to operations. Okay, here the idea is that our environments like production, a demo or development that I actually just deleted, okay, here is the status. Okay, this is what I did with my environments. Okay, I created today this demo Business Central, and I deleted the Sandbox for the development. So you always need that, okay? And this is always completed. What happened with my environments? A copy, a restoration, exporting information, right? Creating new environments. Everything will be here on your operations part. So the other part of what we need to do is how to do support, how you contact somebody, okay? And then whenever we do an installation, what we would do, or you can do so as well, you need to go to support and, well, create a manage support contact. I'm currently in my production environment once again, and you just need to add me, okay? Manage support contact, just add my name, Manuel, or your actual preferred consultant, and add their email, okay? In this case, well, myself, because, well, we work with all of you as well. You can contact me, no problem. But if you have a name for any preferred consultant that you would normally work with any given functionality as well, you can apply it to all the environments if needed, or only one for this. But they will be receiving your request through the email whenever you actually come back here. And I'm going to come back to Business Central and how then we use it. The idea is that we have, once again, one question mark, and we can just check help and support option. If we just click on this one, then I'm going to be able to just take a look at my information, okay? Do you need technical support, contact support that? Well, the actual email or Optimus.guru. So whenever you have new users or there's an issue, right? The idea is that, well, they can immediately contact us by checking this information, all right? So from here, the idea is that, well, you're going to be able to create a new email, okay? Or, well, send us an email to Optimus.guru to open our website and, well, look for this information. And from here, if you have an error, you just need to click on view the last known error, just in case, like a database log or a report is not printing or something is not posting. Click on view the last known error. Okay, so yeah, an error occurred while querying for an external license information. Okay, that's good. Somebody's not having access at this point. Okay, so why not to just please send me this information? Okay, just this will be explaining a lot of things for us consultants, right? Copy it and immediately use this information to send us that, explaining that, well, the name of the user, that will be helpful, just as an example, right? And send us additional information. I strongly recommend you to actually just do that. Now, if you are going to be then doing some administrations for your own environment, sometimes you, in the worst case scenario, suddenly nobody's going to have access like this specific user, but I can see that, well, I have access, so one user doesn't have access, but I can see that it was only his user. I still have Business Central running, so it's not a problem. But here, we might find, I haven't yet seen it yet, but just in case, Microsoft created a report production outage, okay? The report a problem section displays an email address, right? To a hyperlink, okay? And this is, okay, all of this information that we're gonna need, okay? Unable to log on all users, okay? Or an API is not connecting, a web service is not connecting or something like that. Please add this. This is super critical at some point. It's not actually common, but just in case, add any of these and then input your information, all right? So the idea is that, well, you can alert us or your Optimus, or you can select the link to either send an email to or open their support site, okay? Or a new browser or things like that. But the idea is that you then can add the technical information about your Microsoft Azure Active Directory in case of this user, troubleshooting what's happening, right? And all of this, right, comes once again into help and support. Once again, if you want to just check the last known error, and what else? And my user, and that will be it. Okay, send it, and this is for the outage. That's super critical to do it as soon as you can. Otherwise, if you think that you need a support from Microsoft, because actually we can contact Microsoft for something that is super technical, actually we can send it through Microsoft by clicking here, new support request. Okay, so that will be the idea. Here, this is going to open the Power Platform from where we open our cases or issues that we want to report to Microsoft about any environment update after installing anything. So this is the new support request, right? Remember that this is the Power Platform Microsoft.com. Okay, from where I'm going to select, well, my environment is Business Central. Then the problem type is because, where is it? Client, or license, at least for the error that I saw. And this is a customer license with an issue, right, in my production environment. Okay, so open a virtual agent, and from here, well, demo user does not have access after creating and assigning ABC license. For this type of issues, actually, don't worry, you can call us, okay? It's just that the error that appeared in this moment was super normal, okay? That happens. But I'm talking about here that after an update or something is failing, okay, Business Central doesn't even open. When a customer has a situation where, or you have a situation, I mean, where you cannot even sign into Business Central, okay, immediate action through this actual process, outages, report production outage action for the relevant production environment in the Business Central Administration Center, okay? Remember, in the Administration Center, this action creates a support ticket either for us and for Microsoft when necessary. But I will just going to give you some suggestion. Try to contact us first, right? In this case, for support, don't unless you cannot have access, go to the production outage, right? Or then just basically don't create immediately a new support request. This is going to go to Microsoft, okay? So for that, manage better our support contact with our team of consultants. You can just basically verify who is the name or email of your preferred consultant, so immediately have contact with them, okay? So in this very moment, the idea is that, well, I have then other resources, right, that can help you with this type of inconveniences, all right? So one thing that as well, just to finish this, I would like to as well share with all of you is that we normally need to measure as well our performance, okay? I'm going to click here once again on help and support. Check the video once again, what I'm doing. But here we have one analysis. Yes, we already know that we have different databases, tables. You already know that we can check what is the size of those databases and so forth, right? But here, I want to see what I've been doing. This is the base application. I have basically Business Central is currently working within time. 1,233 milliseconds is still very good for me, okay? But if this goes below, I don't know, 5,000 milliseconds, 10,000 milliseconds, I'm thinking that will be not that very good anymore, right? So the example here is because, well, yes, we can gonna be able to see and measure what is the response of all the applications that you install, including the base application, which is basically Business Central. And currently I'm running as well a forecast, right, for my sales and inventory, which is Cortana or machine learning running behind this, checking my historical data to provide forecast about all my inventory and sales operations. Okay, so from here I can see just basically, okay, in this pie chart, well, basically everything is working fine, but well, currently my processes is the normal ERP and just a few of the performance is being consumed by my forecaster for sales and inventory. Okay, and if necessary, just to be able to finalize, well, I have opened some different windows, okay, and all of them are responding quite fast. The thing here is that with the time, we're going to be able to see how the time is spent or required to open anything within our application, base application, or other apps we install or other functionalities. Well, they will be diminishing. So then we would need then just basically to let me just call this tree. Okay, and this is what I have been doing basically, just a technical review, right? About what type of objects that I'm actually just checking. Okay, but don't worry about this one yet. Okay, the idea is that there's a way actually to verify that something is not that fast anymore. Okay, so we might require an update. we might need to verify with the consultants what happened. You need the evidence sometimes, say with your managers or director. Look how Business Central is not opening the item card, or the forecaster is taking a lot of time. Okay, so just click on download this report, or as well we have the option to share through Teams. Okay, so from here that will be something. Hey, I was opening the forecaster is taking a while, or the ERP is taking a while, because Noe has a lot of things open. Okay, so we can just basically download the same information, all right, that we are just checking here, and even download it. Okay, so this containing, of course, sensitive data. Okay, so don't share it. That's why I don't always recommend just to just download this report. Better share within Teams, because this is going to check only with users that has already access to Business Central, right? So anyway, if you want to then as well, you can download then this specific file just by clicking on download, then to share the evidence. Okay, and just for us to finish today, this is super useful when we, well, sometimes would need to download and have evidence of that is something is not working the way it's supposed to. Okay, and this is normally because this might then just be with a large database. Your database is going to grow within time in 1 to 3 years, depending of how many applications you actually just use. Okay, the database is going to, of course, start growing. Okay, so that will be then the webinar for today of some of the most important tasks, guys. Thank you for coming as well. The video will be available because I know that I navigated through a lot of different areas and tasks and things that we might need sometimes to just cover whenever we want to work with the Business Central in the cloud. Okay, so thank you very much for your time once again, and then hopefully you have a great week, and see you then in our next webinar next Thursday, like every week. Thank you very much, and then have a nice day.